So my name's Graham Maybe. I've been carp fishing for about 32, 33 years now, and I'm currently the England assistant manager for the England carp team, level 2 angling coach, and an avid carp angler. I get out carp fishing as much as I possibly can. So the story about Solubles, where do I start? We were over in Spain practicing for the World Carp Championships in 2015 it was. And there were some other nations over there, some European nations, which were sticking out some baits. And they were going a very long way. They were constantly sticking. Their baiting patterns were absolutely amazing during the night time. And at the end of that practice, we had a chat with a few of them, and it was apparent that they had a little edge when it came to baiting up with a throwing stick. And over the next 2 years, Solubles came onto my radar, and straight away I could see the appeal, the importance of having Solubles in your match fishing strategy, but also in your everyday carp fishing. Because these baits were breaking down between sort of 2 and 4 hours. You're able to stick them a long way. And having run a commercial fishery, I know how important, like when a fish, if you go to a commercial match lake and watch people fishing paste on the float, when the fish start feeding on those paste baits, you get all the attraction clouding in the air, they're soft, they can easily digest, and once a fish gets onto paste on a commercial match fishery, it's very, very hard to get them off of that. And we found exactly the same thing on the international match scene. And I started tinkering and playing around. When I came back, I was speaking to my friends over in Romania and actually started producing my own Solubles, rolling them by hand to start with. Then I found a roller to make me small batches. And they were good, but they weren't perfect. And just out of a chance scroll through Facebook, I actually saw that Jason Callahan, a person that I used to fish with back in Broadlands in the mid-90s, was now with Nutrabaits and managing Nutrabaits, along with Rich, the new owner. And I made a phone call to Jace, and we discussed Solubles right from day one. And their enthusiasm and keenness to help me develop these Solubles using their bait knowledge, which, you know, I've got a bait understanding, but I haven't got an in-depth bait knowledge like the guys at Nutrabaits have through years and years of developing premium quality baits. And I ended up joining Nutrabaits, and we started developing this about 2.5 years ago. So for the past 2.5 years, we've been working on perfecting this Nutrabait soluble range. And we're at such an exciting point that we're just about to release the finished article. One thing that has been staggering to watch is the attention to detail that's gone into these Solubles. And the guys will not settle for anything other than perfection, which has been marvellous to see. We've gone through so many test batches and we're finally there with the finished article. So for some people out there, you might remember the old soluble ball pellets, I call them. Back in the mid-90s, I remember them coming out. And just to reiterate, these new Solubles are completely different from those. Those old baits were basically lots of coarse ingredients packed together with some binders that broke down into pretty much nothing. What we've developed at Nutrabaits is actually a food bait that has got the exact same ingredients, the exact same attractor package that our main boilie ranges have got, but they break down within 2 to 3 hours in the summertime, giving you a huge edge in your carp fishing. Now what that allows you to do is to bait up and have baits at different stages of breakdowns. So the fish, when they come on in, they start feeding on them, attractants start releasing into the water column, they start filtering them through their gills, they can digest them a lot quicker. And once they start getting their heads down on Solubles, and I've seen this on the international match stage, I've seen it in my fishing, once they start feeding on Solubles, they will keep coming back to that spot, feeding time and time again. And it's not been an easy process to get there. We've had many, many, many variants of test baits which we've trialled, but we're finally there, and I can honestly, hand on heart, say that the new Solubles that are being released by Nutrabaits are the best that I've ever seen.